YouTube, I'm doing a climate update now. I don't know. This is kind of interesting. So I asked this person in my chat, Guy McPherson, snap your fingers, you're king of the world. Seems to be very passionate about climate. So I asked him, okay, snap your fingers, king of the world. You're going to do something to help fix climate. What would be the number one thing you would do? And he said this mirror reflection project, spelled MEER, but it is actually about mirrors. And this is the professor right here. Friendly fella. Anyway, let's just back it up just a touch here because I forgot to hit recording. So he's introduced Dr. Peter Wadhams, super smart motherfuckers. He's read at least like 2 or 3 books. I guarantee it. So, you know, way smarter than the entire right-wing blogosphere. Is that still a thing, the blogosphere? Probably not.
A farewell to ICE. So with that, I hand it off to Dr. Peter Wadhams.
Yeah, thank you very much. And
young adult novels don't count, Chem Goblin, okay? All right, if it features a wizard or a space marine, it doesn't count, okay? It's got to be about some fucking boring-ass bullshit. It's not even fun, okay?
Really appreciate this presentation that we've had because what's startling about the use of mirrors is the simplicity of the idea, which doesn't mean it's not a great idea. It means it's an idea that hasn't been had or put into any action before. And it's because it falls into the category of geoengineering, which, and as we've heard, that has a bad name, and I don't know why. I first got involved in geoengineering projects many years ago with the project on marine cloud brightening, which is going to be featured in another talk this week. And the idea of marine cloud brightening, of reflecting more, making clouds brighter so they reflect more radiation, is very similar to this idea, but less direct than the idea of directly reflecting radiation with mirrors. But for some reason, that marine cloud brightening, which is very promising and has not been really put into action, and because of the way in which somehow or other anything we do to interfere with the natural processes is regarded as evil, as we've heard, regardless of the fact that in fact we're interfering with nature's processes all the time by burning fossil fuels.
No, that's a great point. You know, that's actually a great point, is that, oh, now we have a problem with geoengineering when it's not, you know, when we're actually trying to fix something, but, you know, when we're actually geoengineering our own catastrophes, I guess we're all cool with that.
So there's a strange lack of logic in people's thinking about geoengineering, and so that they try to get around it by renaming it, not calling it geoengineering, but I think it is, and we should be proud.
What do they call it?
That methods of doing it have been invented that really will have an impact on global temperatures. Some of the data that we've heard here is very interesting. For instance, that 2 kilowatts per person are available for carbon capture, and that it means that we really need to have a powerful system in place, a powerful natural system, to be able to get ourselves down in terms of the temperature of the planet. Up to now, the newest thinking on this has been revolving around direct air capture, methods of actually taking carbon dioxide out of the atmosphere and bringing directly the atmospheric composition down so that we do away with the greenhouse effect. And the theory being, if you've got too much carbon dioxide in the air, and therefore we have too high a temperature, the way to deal with it is to take the carbon dioxide out of the air. And that makes sense, obviously, but recently, the more people have thought about doing this, the costs have become apparent that this will be a very expensive procedure, and it's not as simple as it looks. That the technology is simple, but the cost of doing it is high, and the possibilities of enacting it on a global scale are there. But
Yeah, I mean, how
they
big are
don't
we
look quite
talking
as
here?
inviting as they did when research on this started. So there's a case for looking around at other geoengineering methods that, while not reducing CO2, can hold the air temperature in place or keep it down. And this looks like a very promising technique to do this with the things that need sorting out, as with all techniques like this, are cost. Is the cost going to be less than other techniques? Can it be scaled successfully up to the scale where this is becoming a major global deployment technique? Can we make enough mirrors of the right type to do this? So it's scalability.
He's basically saying, Comrade Chicken, it's, you know, the most important thing to look at is cost and scalability in terms of the viability of this. And, you know, in terms of some of the other rather expensive ideas, this might be an extremely cost effective. We got plenty of sand. We can make big sheets of glass. We do all kinds of funky shit with glass. This might be a cost effective way to fight against, you know, greenhouse gas. You know, I worry though, if it's so fucking effective and so fucking cheap, why would, you know, countries are going to stop worrying about polluting? You know what I mean? There's, okay, fine, we're good to go, right? Burn away. That'll be a little worrisome, but that's kind of one of those good problems, right? When we find a solution that's so good, it's so effective that it fixes everything, and now we got to deal with the externalities of it being so awesome. Definitely a good problem, but that would be interesting. But we're at phase 0 here. He's still talking about it as a theory, but he says, hey, this might be cost effective and this might be scalable.
Quality and cost are always the factors that you have to think about in any technique. So I think they're the things we have to think about here. But at first sight, at any rate, both of these look favourable, and it's something we should really think very carefully about and start trying, at least on a pilot scale, and then see how it.
Yeah, prototype this bitch.
So I think
all
these
right.
are great ideas.
Okay, all right. Well, thank you very much, Guy. I appreciate the input on that. I don't disagree. Hey, man, this is, you know, at the very least, start the R&D to see if it's a viable solution. Okay, so here we go. Let's maybe we won't watch the whole 10 minutes here, but the scientist that Guy McPherson here mentioned is doing a 10-minute explanation of what this actually is and what this actually looks like. So I'm actually intrigued enough. We're doing a YouTube video on climate. Let's go ahead and cap it off, and let's get a proper explanation from a professor here, from Guy McPherson. Let's see if we can get a proper explanation of why this is you know, such a hot thing to be talking about. I'm curious.
I am honored to introduce Dr. Ye Tao, a multi-talented engineer at Harvard's Roland Institute.
Whoa, dude. Nerd explosion. No. Guys, these people are probably going to save our lives, so shut the hell up. Okay? And look, we even have Bernie Sanders here, okay? And Einstein. Yeah, the crew's all here, folks.
The mirror reflection framework is the brainchild of Dr. Tao. In my well-studied opinion, this is the only project with coherent and mutually reinforcing adaptation, mitigation, and geoengineering.
Who the fuck is this? I'm sorry. I'm sure he's an up-and-comer scientist, but it's just old. It's like old graybeards, and motherfucking Zach McCracken over here. He just hopped off his skateboard, just got back from a Backstreet Boys audition. I mean, what the fuck, man? I'm sorry. Let's get back to it.
Engineering components that has been demonstrated to have the potential to make a dent in the rapidly ongoing process of abrupt climate change. This process underlies the ongoing mass extinction event and threatens all life on Earth with extinction in the near future.
No biggie.
All other geoengineering projects with which I'm familiar have been found wanting after many years of scholarly investigation. In the
And yeah, wow, scientists, the scientific method. Oh, it's so refreshing, you know. Isn't that great? You know, hey, you know, I don't have a favorite. My favorite is the one that actually works through very rigorous scrutiny. That's nice. Is there something wrong with this guy? Is he some kind of like fucking, you know, Dilbert, you know, the author of Scott Patters, what the fuck's his name from Dilbert? Yeah, he reminds me. Is there something wrong with this guy? Someone set me straight. Is he a fascist or something? Is he like an eco-fascist? Please tell me there's nothing wrong with this guy, okay? I want to hear what he's got to say and believe it's legitimate here, okay? Is he like a Scott Ritter, you know? He's a cultist? Is that what it is? Okay. There's got to be something fucking wrong with him, right? Of course, there's got to be fucking something. Got to be something. All right, let's listen to it. Whatever. Fuck.
absence of some means of reversing the ongoing climate change disaster, we face a truly Hobbesian future. Unrestrained, selfish competition leading to human lives that are solitary, poor, nasty, brutish, and short. I cannot place enough emphasis on the dire nature of our planetary predicament. Indeed, I do not believe it is possible to overstate the importance of abrupt climate change underpinning loss of habitat for our species.
It's true.
According to the conservative peer-reviewed
Incredibly
literature
dire.
and large-scale assessments of this literature, we are driving non-human vertebrates and non-human mammals to extinction at rates unprecedented during our time on Earth.
100% true.
As vertebrate mammals, we too fit into the category of severely endangered.
Yeah.
If humans
We're
are to persist
poisoning the world.
beyond the next few years, we must take radical action focused on preservation of habitat for Homo sapiens. This action cannot wait. So far, serious proposals to address this matter have been delayed by the absence of understanding of the importance of abrupt climate change, the attendant lack of funding, and creative approaches rooted in evidence. Dr. Tao and the mere reflection framework
Center
offer a
top.
path forward.
Center
And with
top.
that, I'll turn it over to Dr. Tao.
Hi, Guy. Thanks for the introduction. So I'd like to share some slides if that's possible.
Yeah, okay. He's a professor of conservation biology. I get all that. He's definitely giving me those vibes. But is there something wrong with him? You know what I mean? Is there some big fucking scandal? You know what I mean? Yeah, I gotta be so careful nowadays, man. There's some weirdo, you know, on Twitch pretending he's this guy, right? In my chat. Something's up. Something's up.
Just to make it easier to understand. So I'm speaking
Okay.
from Project Mirror Reflection, and right now it's a volunteer-run organization. Average age is college senior and maybe first year of grad school. We have about 30 team members from around the country and also in other parts of the world. So the goal today is to really, in like 4 minutes, 5 minutes, make a case of what a feasible solution needs to contain. So basically, we have to answer yes to all the following. So the solution needs to work in principle, but also has to respect material constraints that we have
Yep.
on this planet.
He is a
Similarly,
cultist.
energy constraints
No!
that we have access to needs
No,
to be
come on. No. No. Oh, God damn it. Hold on. He does. Okay, come on. Hold on. Here we go. Inventing and promoting doomer fringe theories such as near-term extinction, which predicts human extinction by 2026. Whoa. Okay. He's made a number of future predictions that he thought were likely. So this is interesting. He's got the apocalypse, Jesus apocalypse thing, but he's doing it from a scientific perspective. Wow, but he's got that like apocalypse mentality that so many like evangelical, you know, religious folks have, but he's doing this from a scientific perspective. Don't go too deep into doom sphere. I mean, you see the memes and stuff, like about, the best thing we could do for humanity is like, kill everyone, kill themselves, that kind of shit. You have a gas mask? Okay, you're good to go. What is this? I don't know. I'm not cool with this. No. Give me something a little juicier. There we go. McPherson was interviewed National Geographic with host Bill Nye. Said McPherson was an apocalyptic ecologist who has built something of an end of days following. Michael Tobias, a climate scientist from the University of Wisconsin, said McPherson is not the opposite of a denialist. He is a denialist, albeit of a different stripe. David Wallace Wells writes in The Uninhabitable Earth, called McPherson a climate Gnostic, which is a collection of religious ideas and systems which coalesced in the first century AD amongst Jewish and early Christian sects. These various groups emphasize personal spiritual knowledge above the orthodox teachings. So he's kind of, okay, interesting, climate Gnostic. And on the fringe, well, climate scientist Michael E. Mann said he was a doomist cult hero. Okay. Well, out of respect for Dr. Yi Tao, and out of curiosity, I would like to know how these fucking mirrors work. So
in the foreseeable.
See if we can get an actual explanation of how these fucking mirrors work. Nature-based solutions, matter of time, geoforestation, local radiative cooler power. Oh wait, here we go. Hold on. Local. What's interesting, so I mean, he believes the world is going to fucking end in like, when was this? So in 4 years from now, he's predicting the world's going to end. And he is earnestly looking for what he believes to be the best scientific solution that could radically alter our climate to fix what he believes to be apocalyptic changes that we'll be seeing in a matter of just a few years. Fascinating, because what a religious person does is they find the goofiest, quack they can find, right? Who's just the goofiest motherfucker you've ever seen in your life, right? And they're in the exact opposite spectrum, right? They try to they find someone who's just utterly ridiculous. But in this case, he's a ridiculous apocalyptic person who's trying to find very legitimate, very smart people. So that is fascinating to me. Wow, that is actually fascinating. Straight up, local radiative cooling power of surface mount mirrors, local radiative forcing of optimally tilted surface mirrors, unpublished. Okay, so let's back this up a bit. I'm curious. Let's go ahead and start with this slide right here. Yeah, okay, let's start with this slide. I just want to know how this science works. That's what I'm curious to know. Why does Mr. Supervillain over here think that this is really going to work, And hey, look, man, I don't think it's going to be the motherfucking apocalypse, but I do think every year it's going to get worse. Coastal communities, island communities, countries that are islands, are going to experience major changes. Venice, isn't there a big river going through Venice, right? That kind of shit. Oh, thank God, John Axel over here with the motherfucking slam dunk. I guess I could have gone to the website, but I don't know. It's better to hear like a professor, not some pot smoking Twitch idiot talk about something. You know what I mean? Just reading off a website. Yeah, well, this is a very slick and fancy ass website. Let me just hear what the scientist has to say here. You know what I mean? Because, like I said, I'm just some jackass. Venice already has serious flooding issues. Well, that's the thing, is that these things are just going to continue, and there is no this. I seriously doubt even this solution would instantly fix things. But we have to slow down this momentum. It's better to be prepared. Absolutely, no, we do need. Well, we need all the help we can get, right? But what we don't want to do is like put all our eggs in a, in one basket, that goofy David Sirota movie, Don't Look Up movie, kind of went into that, right? Like putting all our eggs into this one idea, and and then putting our faith into this, billionaire who wanted to make money. Anyway, decent movie, stupid ending, decent movie though.
So people think that planting trees will solve the problem. The problem is that the total reforestation potential is only 40 gigatons, which is 10% of what's needed. And that 10% takes 100 years to reach.
Interesting.
And would be gone within a couple of years of current emissions.
I'm not sure where he's getting this data. Okay, I'm just going to pretend it's legitimate for now. I don't know how linked this guy is to McPherson here.
Any reasonable timescale. So I'd like to then make the, based on our current best understanding, placing mirrors on different parts of the Earth at optimal angles seems to be the only solution compatible with all the material and energy constraints. And we can achieve between 100 to 150 watt per meter squared of cooling on most parts of the world and oceans. So what's the conversion between CO2 warming and cooling by mirrors? So I will.
Well, look, it's fascinating though, because usually the apocalypse crackpot is, rejects science, right? But this guy's an apocalypse crackpot who is spending all of his crackpot time. He's devoting his entire life to finding legitimate science. I assume, like, he's trying to find legitimate solutions. He's not just trying to find solutions that will make him happy. He literally thinks shit's gonna fucking go in the next couple of years. Like his life is going to change, and he's furiously looking for legitimate solutions, right? I find that a little fascinating, right? I find that actually kind of interesting.
Not go through the calculation in detail, but it's a very simple calculation.
All that manic energy
calculation is based on the global assessments we performed. The conversion factor is roughly 1 ton CO2 can be offset by 10 meters squared of mirror, weighing about 100 kilograms. The cost of such a device will be between $1 and $10. The reason is the energy required to make such a glass costs $1 at very stable price for fossil fuels. And we can purchase such a piece of glass for $10 on Alibaba. So the manufacturing facility is certainly making a profit. So the price has to fall somewhere in between. But can we really claim that mirror equals minus CO2? We cannot. So there are some good parts and bad parts. Good part is that the current level of CO2 actually helps primary production, including agriculture and the ecosystem recovery. The bad part is it's contributing to ocean acidification. But luckily for us, that's a problem that will only become manifest by the end of the century. So we did a very thorough assessment of the world's forest sequestration potential for carbon. And it turns out 1 square meter of mirror can offset the same amount as a 3 meter squared of a mature Amazon forest. That's including both above ground and below ground biomass.
Okay, look, if you don't know what the fuck he's talking about, he's saying for the cost of 1 meter, I think, something like that, of mirror, you can offset 3, you could basically have the offset equivalent of 3 meters of Amazonian rainforest. So that's massive. That's massive if that is true, if that calculation is true.
For other parts of the world, it's better because forests are sparser. And compared to commercial forest, the gap is over an order of magnitude.
Yeah, so you could put this in places where there are no forests. You can put these mirrors in places that are no forests, and then make them much more effective at reducing carbon. It's not a carbon sink. They're not absorbing carbon and converting it into oxygen like a tree would. I assume it's reflecting heat energy. I'm not quite sure of how that's working, but he's basically saying that, you know, it's the equivalent of 3 meters of Amazonian rainforest sucking in that carbon, eating that carbon to convert it into oxygen.
In terms of aerial efficiency. But in terms of climate benefit, the gap widens because trees are dark and they absorb heat.
It is about heat. Okay.
In terms of Arctic ice, Mir is also superior by a factor of 2.5. And
in terms of trapping carbon,
superior by a factor of 2.5. And one of our engineers, and in collaboration with a new team member, we're thinking of empowering the Friday strikers with mirrors, each measuring half a meter squared. If all 14 million strikers carried, each of them, half a meter squared of mirror, they can already today offset 1 megaton of CO2.
Wow.
In comparison, the projected capacity for direct air capture in
Connor yawning.
2024 will be probably on the same order or most likely 10 times less.
She's on her phone, not even listening.
I was giving a talk recently to a school in England, the Westminster School. And I just took the sides of their yard and the roofs. If we cover that with mirrors, then the entire school's surface area could offset 1 kiloton at a cost of 50,000 today. And that's a little bit more expensive because it's a small order.
And he's referencing the air capture. So I showed that video that, you know, showed this really cool project in Switzerland of, you know, they're using geothermal energy to power this carbon capture device. Did I show that actually? I might have just actually watched that at my own personal time, but this device will actually capture the carbon. Yeah, I actually did just watch that in my own personal. Sorry, I did not stream that. But it was like one of those Tom, you know, scientist Tom guy videos. And he went there and he was able to get a piece of physical carbon that was extracted from the sky. And yeah, he's saying, you know, for about $50,000 worth of mirrors, we can get the same equivalent. We can actually get better than the $4 million carbon capture plant out in Switzerland, right? That's being powered by geothermal energy. Yeah, Tom Scott, exactly, Chem Goblin.
Okay, just individual order placed today. In comparison, the same capacity, albeit per year, capture requires 4 million Swiss francs. So the difference is not even just significant. It's different by orders of magnitude. And with that, that's my last.
All right. Well, that is actually fascinating. Regardless of Mr. And he does look strange. He was giving me weirdo vibes. He was totally this guy's giving me weirdo vibes with his, you know, his like all the way buttoned up shirt and, you know, and his like, you know, just kind of his demeanor. But like I said, he's devoting all of this manic, you know, weird guy energy into trying to find what I perceive to be legitimate science. I don't think this Dr. Yi Tao is a crackpot. Maybe he is. I don't know. Let's go ahead and do his Wikipedia. I'm super curious because we need solutions. Dr. Yi Tao Wiki. See here. Well, this is on the Mirror website. I don't want that. See here. All right, well, let me just see here. Charging, running the lab, Harvard's Roland. Multidisciplinary background in physics, chemistry, engineering, material science. Got his full bio right here. Expresses his love. Okay, I don't know. I don't hate it. So hey, Guy McPherson, you still in the chat there? I got one more question for you. Fascinating stuff. Actually, legitimately fascinating. And yeah, I mean, you know, I'm an existentialist. Like, you know, I really do believe that we can persevere regardless of, the hopelessness that we feel. That we as human beings are actually quite capable, beyond our perception. We are capable of almost anything. Okay, Guy McPherson, thank you for being here and sticking around. I do appreciate that, first of all. So here's the question, man. You believe Guy McPherson. You think he's correct. I mean, you also called him a cultist. So you're very honest. But do you believe Guy McPherson? Do you believe his predictions that in 2026 there will be some major climate event that will create a climate apocalypse of sorts? Do you believe that? I mean, because like there is no technocratic solution. Okay, yes. I believe I'm about to eat an edible and get fucked up. So Guy McPherson, if you truly believe that, what are you, are you prepared for 2026? Are you really honestly prepared for no water, no electricity, society breaking down? Are you actually preparing for that, or are you just, holding the sign up that says the end is nigh and then kind of, hoping for the best? Because I mean, a person who thinks that the apocalypse is going to hit in 3 years, they're going to be pretty busy getting ready for that apocalypse. So, and I do think, I mean, I do think things are climate-wise, things are going to get a lot worse before they get better. We saw in the most recent, COP, and I was covering this, COP 23 or 22 or whatever the fuck. They're not serious. They're setting goals in the 2050s. They're doing everything they can to, bend around corporations. Anarcho-nihilist recently, quite interesting, especially a discussion about the environment. Anarcho anything. I'm bored already. It depends on if one wants to live through apocalypse, I guess. No, I'm just living my life. Do you think that there's something hypocritical about that Guy McPherson? About, repeating the words of a, kind of a... I don't want to call him a madman, but I want to, like an unstable... I don't know, it's... Right, or, is it wrong? I mean, I think it is wrong to lie to people like that. He doesn't know. He doesn't know. No one can truly know. You know what I mean? I'm sad. Can't do anything about it. Yeah, Lenny, welcome back. Amazing website. Watched that video last night. It was really funny. It was really cool. Your passion and hatred against Suicide Doors is fascinating. Loved it. If you don't know the videos we're talking about, check it out in the Discord. We have Lenny's wonderful YouTube channel and YouTube content in the general section. Make sure you check it out. I mean, but Guy McPherson, don't you find it a tad bit hypocritical to be whipping up a frenzy and then you yourself not doing anything? Is that really your solution? Just like do nothing? It doesn't sound like you really believe it, I do respect your honesty, though. I do respect your honesty. Pretending to not be himself. I would hope that the real Guy McPherson would be too busy, gathering data on the upcoming apocalypse or something. It's interesting though, because I also don't want to downplay the legitimacy of climate change, because folks, shit is going to be changing, and people are going to be nihilistic about it. They're going to be like, there's nothing we can do. We have no choice. This is the new norm. There's nothing we can change about this. It's completely out of our control. Well, you know, we need to do everything we can, Guy McPherson, and that includes politically, you know, choosing our leaders and representatives appropriately. Folding our arms and just giving up isn't going to fix it. Yeah, that's kind of, you know, I don't respect that. I don't think just being sad and then just living my life is good enough. I think you have to take responsibility for the world around you. And I do think that while these problems are massive and require an incredible amount of intelligence and resources and political will to change and make better, I do not entertain the idea that these things are impossible. These things are not impossible. Geoengineering isn't going to fix everything, though. What is going to fix everything is stopping the pollution, stopping the microplastics, stopping the burning of carbon, you know, and then, you know, with a little geoengineering on the side to maybe help things out, right? That's my belief, right? Well, there you go, YouTube. That's all I got for today. Kind of a bonus climate section. Guy McPherson asking some interesting questions and introducing me to a very interesting character, Guy McPherson, who is a scientific cult leader, which, you know, just fucking as unicorn as it gets, man. It's rare, dog. So that was just fascinating to do a deep dive on that fellow and learn more about the Mirror Project. Seems, you know, I'm down for anything. Down for anything. Make sure you check me out on Twitch. We're doing all kinds of crazy shit over here. Come on over. Links in the description. Thank you.